Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Career Mode. We're into episode 20 today and we have the much awaited semi-finals of the Champions League. Hamburg have gone all the way to the semis in their debut year and we're going to be taking on Barcelona later on in this episode. So stay tuned for that. Until then though, we're still on the quest of trying to secure the Bundesliga title. Not quite mathematically secured yet, so we have to try and win our game here against Hertha Berlin. If we do that, we will be champions of the Bundesliga. And I think we even get to lift the trophy as well if we win here. So there is that. A draw wouldn't mathematically secure it, but what it will do is theoretically secure it. And what I mean by that is, the way it currently looks for the table, if we were to draw and by minute win, it would still give them enough points potentially to close the gap and try and beat us, but they would have to have something crazy like a 30-goal swing because goal difference, we're just massively ahead. So at least a draw, and we can pretty much say it is there and it's done. So as long as we draw the game, I wouldn't be too worried. But I just don't know what it is against Hertha Berlin. We don't seem to be able to play against them. I'm pretty sure we lost the other game when we took them on away from home. They've come to the Volkspark Stadion, and although I'd named quite a strong team actually for this game, trying to just get that league secured before we go into game against Barca, it just didn't go to plan early game. Like we were all over the place defensively, and they took the lead for a cross. Of course it is. We always know about crosses and how poor we are at defending them. And then we move into the second half, where a moment of sheer just ridiculousness from Bentancur gave them an opportunity to make it 2-0, and they took it with both hands. So at that point, I was like, get off. I substituted Bentancur instantly after that, after Duda had doubled his advantage. Because if you watch that back, what's he doing? Why is he falling over before playing his pass? I just had my head in my hands. I was like, I can't believe this. We're going into what could be a really tough double leg against Barcelona. We don't need this right now. So we have to try and at least find a goal and show me something that proved that we're going to actually be able to score against Barca. Because, of course, otherwise we're going to have to rely on penalties and not conceding at all, which with a team of Messi, Suarez, Dembele, they're going to get chances and possibly score them. So we had to try and find a chance ourselves, and we got the first one of the game through Arp, who sent his shot goal-bound. It came off the inside of the post and ended up nestling in the back of the net to make it 2-1. So just before we were able to make that happen, I'd switched up a little bit. We'd gone to ultra-attacking. I wasn't even on balance for this point. I'd gone to ultra-attacking, which is something that I don't necessarily do a lot because it does leave you very, very exposed. But I thought, you know what, let's throw caution to the wind. Doesn't matter at this point if we lose the game 4-0 or if we draw it or win it. So going forward, trying to find another chance. We got it again. 2 goals inside 10 minutes. This one coming from Davies now, as we were able to pull it back onto level terms. But where was this? Where was this in the first half? Why is it taking us 70 minutes before we finally managed to actually get ourselves going in the game? You know, it shouldn't be we're taking this long to actually begin to grow into the game. We've got to do it a lot quicker. Otherwise, Barcelona, are going to have a field day against them. I keep calling Barcelona Bayern and Bayern Barcelona. It's one thing I've always done on the channel. I don't know why that is. But anyways, yeah, as I said, we need to start quicker than that when we do take on Barcelona, because they're just going to run field days round us if we're not careful. So, although, as you can see by the match facts, it was fairly even. Possession-wise, we dominated again. It's something of a regular occurrence. We seem to have a lot of the ball, but don't necessarily do what we need to do with it. I'm going to assume that now we're taking on Barcelona. The first leg coming at the Volkspark Stadion, so just don't concede and we'll be in a good standing. I'm going to assume Barcelona will now have a lot of the ball themselves. You know, the likelihood is, although we technically dominate in the Bundesliga in terms of possession, we're probably not going to have that happen here in the home leg. But first 2 minutes, I tell you what, talk about starting fast. We did just that. Bobby Reed through to Ante Rebic, and his left-footed shot coming off the post, as I thought we were about to get the dream start at home. Lucas Torreira gave the ball away cheaply there in the midfield, something you can't do against Barcelona. Look how quickly they move this ball around here. Within an instant, it's gone out to the wide area. Dembele, Messi, Suarez. I mean, that passing move right there shows you just how difficult this is going to be, as Philippe Coutinho heads Barcelona 1-0 in front inside 7 minutes. We'd hit the post in 2 minutes. They then kept the ball the entire way through before finding the opening goal of the game. Genuinely, I don't know how you defend that, because that passing was just too fast for me to even highlight a player to get them over. So I've got to say that, you know, this is quite possibly going to be one of the hardest games we're facing in the Champions League with this team. But we kept going right until this point, and I wanted to give as much as we can to try and get ourselves back in the game. Rebic's cross, Muller, open goal. And at that point, I wanted to give up. I had a few choice words, and I was like, I'm not dealing with this. Like, look, how How have you missed that so badly, Muller? Genuinely didn't know. I know the side's weaker a little bit, but even so, you know, we are creating chances, and we could have quite easily on another day been 2-0 up in the game. Luckily, though, we do eventually get ourselves back on level terms. Bobby Reed, just before the half-time whistle went, curling a left-footed shot past the goalkeeper to Stegen to make it 1-1. So just think to yourselves, guys, if we'd have taken the chances where we hit the post, we would have been winning here by 3-1. Would that have been enough to send us to that Champions League final? Who knows? Maybe Barcelona would have got into this. But as I said, we had to make sure we didn't concede, and we've already done that. Now, second half began. Messi was on the ball. I gave the ball away, and I decided at that point I didn't want the break-in, so I took him out, right? Purposely. I took him out. I'm not going to deny that. I meant to do that, right? But what I didn't mean to do was get a red card, because that then throws the entire balance out the window. But traditionally, when we've gone down to 10 men, we've actually done very, very well indeed. And we actually had the better of the chances in this second half. 9 minutes from time, Zuba testing the palms of ter Stegen with that shot there. And then another opportunity in the last few minutes as Bentancur found his way forward. Little fake shot to get him in an area to shoot. He shoots the ball eventually. It goes over the top of the crossbar. So with the 90 minutes on the clock here, it was Hamburg 1, Barcelona 1. I've got to admit, I was expecting more and I was expecting worse from the game. When Barcelona came, I saw their lineup, Messi, Coutinho, Suarez, Dembele, and I genuinely feared for how this game was going to go. But having seen the match facts afterwards, considering we played the entire second half pretty much with 10 men, we had 60% of the ball to their 40. We created more chances. As I said, if we score those two that hit the post, we could have quite easily been already in that final. So there's a lot of positives to take from the game. But the question now is going to be this. Can we go to Spain and actually score? Because if we can't, we're going out. They've got the goal. We have to score in Spain in order to even have a chance at that final of the Champions League. So we've got to go there and score. That's basically the aim. But until that game comes up, guys, we have another chance to secure this Bundesliga title, this time against Borussia Dortmund, and this time a draw would mathematically secure us as Bundesliga champions. You can see we gave a penalty away nice and early on as Van Drongel tried to block a cross and end up taking out his man. They missed the penalty though because Pau Lopez makes a good save in the end to deny them. And then we go up the other end just before half-time, the best time to score. And Rebic opens up the scoring 42 seconds over the allotted 2 minutes that the referee had said he was going to play for injury time. So you remember last time we faced Dortmund, they scored in the injury time just before the final whistle came. Of a 3-minute injury time that went over by a minute and a half, and they scored an equaliser from that. So I felt like this was a bit of revenge, I guess you could say, a bit of redemption, because they scored an injury time that went over. Now we have as well against them. So it's a bit of like, you've done it once, we'll get our own back now. And we continue the pressure in the second half. Rebic again, who performed pretty well during this game. Of course, he's going to miss that one against Barcelona and the Champions League final as well due to his red card. But at least he's confident in the league as he grabs a second goal, a typical similar finish to that of his first, as he just keeps it low and hard in towards the bottom corner. 2-0 Hamburg, and that now means that Hamburg are Bundesliga champions. Of course, we are going to await confirmation of that, and we will not be lifting it here because it's not a home game, this one. We are playing at the Signal Iduna Park, so we are away at Borussia Dortmund, unfortunately. But as you can see here from the celebrations, confirmation that Hamburg have won the Bundesliga title for the first time in our reign, and it's only taken us the second season to get there. So we had one season where we finished in the top 4, finishing 4th. This season, we're top of the Bundesliga, and if we get the right result against Barcelona, we're going to be playing in a Champions League final. Let that sink in for a moment. I mean, even if we don't get to the Champions League final, it's been a sensational season. And these players have to take a lot of credit for it, because nobody at the start of the season would have expected them to have even reached the semi-final of a Champions League, let alone the final, if we even get there. So obviously, getting out of the group stage was good enough. Advancing through the quarterfinals was brilliant as well after we got through the round of 16. But there's just that part of me that wants, and we feel like we deserve to play in that Champions League final. That is confirmation there. Hamburg wins the Bundesliga title. The little shield in front of myself and Pau Lopez there as we sat down for the press conference. But that's in the back of our mind now, because one of the more important games of the series we're going to play, 16-year-old Robin Manole takes the cam roll at the Nou Camp against Barcelona in the semi-final of a Champions League. 16 years of age, and he's on the verge of a Champions League final potentially. Messi, the player to watch, 31. He's had a lot of experience. Everybody knows about him. We know how tough it's going to be to actually play against this Barca side away from home. But there's so much youth out there that I just can't help but feel if they don't get through, it's going to hurt them. You know, we've got Davis, Arp, Manole, some very, very young people. Even Torreira is a very, very young player as well, only at 23. But as I said, 16 years of age, you wouldn't be able to tell it. Because the man who scored our opening goal at the Nou Camp was the little Romanian, Robin Manole. I said we had to score, so I set it to go attacking from the offset. Was not interested in defending. I said to myself, you know what? If we sit back here, it's just going to invite pressure on, which you simply can't have. We need to score a goal, otherwise we're going out. And it was nice to get it in the first half as well. I've got to admit, I was clock watching a lot, trying to see how much time I had left until that ball went in the back of the net. But now it just gave me a little bit of, I guess, confidence moving forward. And then things got even better as we went 2-0 in front. Alphonso Davies racing through after Arp sent him through one-on-one. And he doubled our advantage, which means now Barcelona have to score 3 to win the game. They can't rely on an away goal because we have the away goal ruling now with us scoring 2. So I genuinely was in that mindset where I was so focused that I didn't even celebrate either of these 2 goals going in. I just wanted to get this one home because if we bring it home, we're playing in a Champions League final, which is... Wow. Anyways, 20 more minutes to go again. We were coming forward. Robin, he's just brilliant. At 16, he easily is one of the best players at the moment in this Hamburg side. And he's a future best player in the world. When you've got Messi on the other team, one of the world's best, if not the best, to a lot of people who would agree with that statement. And yet he's been overshone by a little 16-year-old Romanian beast in Robin Manole. You just have to hold your hands up and say, listen, he's the next generation of the best. And that is the case. He sent us through to a Champions League final. 90 minutes on the clock. A 1-1 draw at the Volkspark Stadion. We had so much work to do coming to the Nou Camp and doing it in Spain. But boy, did we send out a message. Whoever's waiting for us in that final, you can't count your blessings. We've knocked out some big sides on our way here. And we're going to knock out whoever it is in that final. I'm confident that the boys will get that job done. Yes, we're a young side. Arp, 17, 18. You've got Alphonso Davies, 18. You've got Ranole, who's only 16. Torreira, 23. Bentancur, 22. You know, some very, very young players. But they've got us here. Why can't they go that one step further? So next episode, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Champions League final. It's live, obviously. And I'm excited. I genuinely didn't expect to be here after 20 episodes and only 2 seasons in. But that's where we find ourselves at the moment. So... we're going to have to just take it as it comes. We are going to be the underdogs going into that. We've been the underdogs throughout the competition. We're still going to be the underdogs going into it. I understand we have knocked out Barcelona. A lot of people would have said that they were the favourites. But listen, it's the way it goes. And we've knocked them out in commanding fashion. We were brilliant throughout. So credit goes to Robin Manole. Credit goes to a lot of the players. I'm excited for that Champions League final. We've won the Bundesliga. We could potentially do the double. I'll see you all for the next episode. Hopefully tomorrow, guys, on the Saturday for the Champions League final. And if you are excited, smash a like on today's video. Leave your prediction down below if you wish as well. For that final, we'll be facing Spurs. So it's all up in air. I'll catch you all tomorrow with that final. See you all then. Adios.